What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about, will LeBron James win the MVP this year? So see what they have to say about that.
NBA MVP, are you taking LeBron or the field?
I'm rolling with LeBron James. I think the fact that he hasn't played since April, after going to 8 straight NBA finals, I think the level of hunger that he's going to have with him is going to be greater than at any time in his career since the first title when they beat Oklahoma City. I think his level of hunger is palpable to that at this particular moment in time.
I don't know. I think it could be argued that LeBron James has been just as hungry at other important times, but we'll get into that later on in this video.
Have a guy like Anthony Davis, unquestionably the best player he's ever played with, okay? And we know that Dwayne Wade's a Hall of Famer, Chris Bosh is a Hall of Famer, but Anthony Davis is a monster. At 6'11", with all the things that he can do, I think that when you look at it from that perspective, LeBron James is going to have an opportunity, obviously, to do his thing. He's going to be, supported by that. He's in the LA market, the purple and gold, et cetera, and I just think it's one of those situations where there's no doubt in my mind. I think LeBron's going to be a monster. Not to say that Giannis is not, Harden is not, Kawhi is not, et cetera, but I think and Steph Curry, let me not forget him. But I just think that at this particular juncture, with the eye of the world on LA, I think LeBron James and what he's going to bring to the table, I think it's going to be something special.
So I don't necessarily know about that. I don't know about that because I think the gap between LeBron James and all the other players in the league, I think it's definitely closed. I think the gap is definitely closed between him and Giannis, Kevin Durant, if he was playing, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, there's just so many other players that the gap has been closed between him or between LeBron James and them that I don't know. It could be kind of up in the air. I do believe that LeBron James is going to come back with a chip on his shoulder. I think he's going to come back balling. But to say that he will be my front runner to win the MVP, I'm not too sure if I want to say that right now because I don't know. Like I said, the gap has changed or the gap has closed between him and a bunch of other players in the NBA right now. So let's continue.
Take the field over LeBron for the MVP. I think LeBron has a really good chance to do it, especially because when I look at this team, the Lakers, if everything works out, I think in the big moments, as good as Rondo's been under pressure, it's Avery Bradley, Danny Green in the backcourt, Kyle Kuzma, AD up front. So LeBron is really running the show. He's the point guard, and his passing, and he could lead the league in assists, and there'll be a lot to like there. Nevertheless, we just saw what they did with load management with Kawhi. They should probably adopt the same thing in LA with LeBron. That's going to keep his numbers down a bit, and LeBron has been wise as he's aged and saved himself for the playoffs, which is why in high leverage moments, he can still be an effective defender when you really need him to be because he holds himself back. When you look at the entire league, James Harden, who people feel like he's been snubbed a bunch, and now he's got a crime partner who he's going to be sharing with. He's actually going to get credit for being like a team player with Westbrook. Giannis is got, coming back with a vengeance. Embiid's kind of in it every year. Jokic, there are a lot of different players. And then Steph, who's going to have to carry more of the load on that team now. I take the field over LeBron for MVP.
So let's get back to what Max was saying, that some people feel that James Harden has been snubbed. Who feels that way? Who thinks that? James Harden has been well known to choke. He's choked himself. He wasn't snubbed by anybody but himself. That's the only person that snubbed him. It's not like the referee screwed him over because he was looking for whatever he couldn't get from the referees. The referees would hook him up, as a matter of fact, taking deep shots and landing 5 feet away from where you originally jumped. So if anybody got snubbed or snubbed themselves, it was James Harden. Nobody snubbed James Harden themselves. So I don't know. Let's continue.
The field over LeBron, and not because I don't think he can win MVP, but I think him pushing to win MVP can hurt that team in the playoffs because we all know that Mother Nature, is undefeated as far as time and legs and body. But talking to him in the summertime, he has a chip on his shoulder. He realized coming to LA, he got bashed for the first time in a long time and really bashed daily. So I think he's going to come out with a different kind of fire. But I think can his fire stay lit the whole season is the reason why I question him winning MVP. Steph finally is kind of free, so to speak. Clay's down, KD's gone. People question Steph. I say Steph can do the same thing James does if he needed to.
Exactly.
So I think it's going to be Steph is going to be Steph. James is going to be James. I think Giannis has a huge chip on his shoulder because he's one of the MVPs. It's crazy to say, but still has more to prove if that makes sense. And I think he knows he has more to prove. And he's going so hard in the preseason, he's got his teammates telling him to slow down. So not that I don't think LeBron can, because I think he's going to be in the MVP conversation, no question. But I'm taking the field.
Let me tell you why I disagree.
So I'm gonna have to look at the field too, and LeBron James, because like I said, the gap has changed between, or it has closed between LeBron James and everybody else. And like I said, Giannis, he looks like he could be MVP again, especially if he's been working on his jumper. Steph Curry could definitely be MVP again. I mean, there's just a lot of guys out there that could definitely give LeBron James a run for his money, especially, LeBron James has been out for a year. So, those guys are just hit the ground running hard. So I don't know. Let's continue.
With you. Let's go down the list. Number one, Giannis, monster. I get that, but I think that the Eastern Conference being what it is with Kawhi Leonard having left the Eastern Conference, being a bit watered down. We're looking at Philadelphia, to a lesser degree Boston, and the only reason I say to a lesser degree because even though Boston arguably has the best perimeter shooting, I think Al Horford leaving and going to Philly put Phillies above the fray. So I think that the absence of a lengthy level of competition hurts Giannis for that MVP vote, even though I think he'll put up similar numbers. In the case of Steph Curry, I think we have to watch out for durability. He's going to dance on everybody, but what are they going to do? They're going to put something on him now. They're going to get physical with him. Why? Because he's Steph Curry, and if you don't, you have no hope. So I think that
they have no hope anyway.
I'm just saying, no. Steph's going to be killing them for the games he plays. Why?
Wait a minute. So now Max is rooting for Steph Curry? Because I could have swore all last year, and especially in the playoffs, he was trashing Curry left and right. Curry doesn't step up when he needs to, and it's all because of Kevin Durant's there. And, Curry doesn't do anything. We've never seen Steph Curry ever do anything without any type of help, and, yada, yada, yada. And all of a sudden now, Steph Curry, he's really going to give the league a run this year, yada, yada, yada. And now that he's by himself, well, I know he has D'Lo with him, but, it's like, so Max is already starting to flip-flop before the season even started. So, I don't know. Let's continue.
Watch Steve Kerr try to protect that man because it's about the postseason. And this is what they're going to do, especially with cats counting them out. Watch out for Golden State. Incredibly dangerous because they don't have to be inside to beat you. They can beat you from the outside.
First round nightmare.
But the last point I want to make is this. Yeah. When you bring up the point about LeBron, and you're talking about LeBron and AD, I watched LA in the preseason. Let me tell you what I've noticed. First of all, we've been raving about the Clippers coaching staff, and we should. No doubt. But Frank Vogel, with Jason Kidd, with Lionel Hollins. I remember my man Phil Handy as well. I'm not ignoring. These brothers can coach. And I'm telling you right now, the way he's got them playing defense and how physical they are, LeBron is getting scoring opportunities by accident. Because they are stopping people, and they're getting physical, and they're forcing the game to slow down, which assists LeBron. And that's where I get that from.
We're not going to ask the next question, so let me just answer it anyway, because we led to it with Steph Curry.
Right.
Like James Harden or the field scoring, right? I'm totally with you on Steph. I'll take the field over Harden in terms of scoring. I'll take the field over LeBron in terms of MVP. And the number one reason in both cases is Steph. The handcuffs are off. Steph is a selfless, really, he's not a point guard. He's like he's a combo guard who's just kind of short. And so he can't play defense as well as you'd want, though he's a willing defender. Steph, without the firepower on the squad now, got the handcuffs off. He is, in terms of when his usage rate rises, his percentages stay the same. He is at least as good a scorer as James Harden.
No question.
Steph is going to go bananas on the league this year.
Steph is going to average 30.
So where was all that energy last year about Steph Curry, Max Kellerman? Because like I said, last year you were just trashing Steph Curry left and right. All is said now, Steph Curry is just above and beyond everybody else, and he's going to ball out and all this other type of stuff. You got to stay consistent, man. I mean, the season hasn't even started yet. So let's continue.
That's low.
He's going to probably average 30. Listen, always remember this. When you're selfless, you're selfless. It doesn't matter who's on the court with you. That's not his personality. He'll explode, and there are games when he'll explode.
Closer to 40
but he'll be
30,
thinking about title. He'll be thinking about what's in the best interest of the team long term, and he'll be thinking about the importance of getting a D'Angelo involved, a Willie Cauley-Stein involved, a Draymond Green even more involved. He's gonna do his thing. But trust me,
Matt, when you talk about James Harden, these last couple years he's been putting up Popeye numbers. Oh my God, I've always thought if Steph was asked to do that, he'd do the same thing.
I think there's a few players you could put in James' spot where he needs to take 25 to 30 shots that could do the same thing. And then that's not disrespecting James because he's one of the most offensively talented players we've ever seen. But I disagree with you from a standpoint of early on, I think he's going to get those guys going and make sure they find the rhythm and those